All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome, everyone, here. We're going to do a little interview here we got a Ethereal dev, we got an Ethereal tester, and we got an Ethereal community member that just loves the game. So any questions you guys have, go ahead and put them in the chat. We're going to get to them as fast as we can and go from there. But before we do that, let's introduce ourselves. We'll start with Scope, and then we'll go Skifter, and then we'll do myself.
Well, pulling up music. Hi, my name is Scope SF. I have been a pretty consistent tester for Ethereal for the past pushing year and a half. And I've loved the entire journey of it, seeing how different the game is now and then. Absolute treasure.
Oh, I agree. I just seeing the changes that I've seen, but I remember them showing things off before, so definitely huge. Skifter and Little Skiff.
Yeah, I'll probably disappear at some point. Yeah, so I'm UG Skifter. Gameplay, programming, the whole nine. In charge of characters at the moment, doing characters. We're going to be talking about one today. So yeah.
All right. Now,
exciting.
How long have you been with UG Skiff?
Pushing 3 years.
3 years. All right. Nice.
2.5 at least.
Right. All right. Nice. Okay. And for myself, you guys don't know me, I'm TheBeardedWolverine, your Michigan Wonder. Excited to be here, and very excited for Skifter to give me this chance to get this interview in. This is awesome. Excited. And I can't wait to talk about this character because what I remember for the last time I played, we only had one mid lane person with Noxus, you know, which was obnoxious playing against her. So I'm hoping we can counter her pretty well. So, but for those of you who don't know, we got Kahlea is now in the game playable, and that's who we're going to talk mainly about today. So any questions you have in chat, go ahead and put them in. Like I said, we'll get to those as we go. But Scope, we'll let you lead off with any of the questions you got for Skiff.
Perfect. So while we are actually waiting for some of the more fine-tuned specific questions, Skip, could you actually take this opportunity to talk about Kahlea directly, like some of the highlights of her kit, things that you're most proud of when it comes to the programming, a lot of the design aspects that you knew you really wanted to put into the character, just kind of a general overview, realistically, so that the audience knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, so I think that this would be a real good time. Sorry, I think this would be a real good time too, because that was one of my questions. Is like the idea of her. Where'd she come from? Like when you guys are in your little war room and you're thinking about a hero and how we're going to create. Like, how do you guys think of Kahlea and her, like how she looks now? Like, because I literally have like a pretty much a Kahlea shirt on, you know, in a sense. Almost. With the ears, you know, and I got the Kahlea, you know, mug, you know. So
oh yeah, I would be proud. Yep. So yeah, I'll go ahead and give a little bit of background on Kahlea. Kahlea was actually conceptualized before I even joined the team, so she's older than I am with the team. She is, I mean, like I said, Owen's very into anime, let's be honest. So that was kind of drew the idea. A little bit of her lore, she powers up, like the way her people are, and Kitsune's, they get stronger as they get more powerful, or like they grow tails as they get more powerful, stuff like that, as they age. And with Kahlea, because she only has one tail, so as she grew older, I think she was like 100 years old and she still only had one tail, so she was basically like exiled from her people because they were like, oh, you're not getting any stronger, get out, basically. And obviously that upset her, and you know, we see with her ultimate, for those that are already familiar, she ends up growing 9 tails, throws a huge spirit bomb ability, finds her power basically, and her whole thing is like getting stronger over time. And so her passive is quite literally that. When she maxes an ability, that ability gets stronger. That ability gains a bonus effect. I'll go into the specifics on that each ability in a sec, but her most controversial, actually before I really get into it, the kit was done by both me and UG Burb. We both tackled it. He did. We split it about evenly, to be honest. A lot of back and forth, a lot of work on everybody's front. The most controversial ability being the right click, the 2-second cooldown dash. That is no longer 2 seconds. Let it be known. I know it was in the video, but it's not anymore. Promise. That was me, so you can blame me for that one.
We were going to blame you anyway.
Yeah, I know, it's okay. You can blame me for everything, it's fine. I'm the one that's gonna fix it anyways. So so she has a very, very short cooldown dash. But the downside with this, as some of you may know, all of the ethereal right clicks have a downside. So they have a really strong upside and a downside. They're not quite as strong as an ultimate, but they're stronger than a basic ability for the most part. And that's kind of the design philosophy behind them. Hers is a very short cooldown dash, but every time you use it, it multiplies the mana cost. So I believe it starts at 40. So it goes 40, 80, 160, 320, 640. And if you don't use it for a significant period of time, then it'll reset. But she doesn't even have that much mana at level 1, so I think she can dash like maybe 3 times level 1. And then she
so it's a double every time. So it was okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like I said, it does reset.
It's a late game. If you have a long game, that could just be. Oh, you said it does reset? Okay.
Yeah. After like 8 seconds, I believe it resets back to the original mana cost.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, holy cow, I mean, late game, man. That's just like you're just gonna be mana hungry. It's like can't touch it.
Very mana hungry for sure.
Okay.
And then just for numbers purposes, does it have a cap? Like, does 640 not double to 1280?
No, it does have a cap. 5 stacks, five doubles basically.
Okay.
So 640 was the cap. When she levels the ability up, that initial mana cost goes down, so it goes 40, 30, 20. So then the doubling goes down retroactively. So late game, it's only like 240 or something like that. No, 320. I don't remember. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Math. The other thing with this ability, small thing, she dashes. Her next basic deals more damage, just to give the ability some flair. Give her basics a little bit more. Give her a reason to use it offensively. That was a change that was made between the gameplay video and the kit that was released a few days ago. So it's to give her a reason to use it offensively. Otherwise, the dash we saw in testing, the dash was just being used defensively to escape. And you could just dash, right? And giving her a reason to use it offensively was a way to help give players a reason to put it on cooldown, basically. So
okay,
that's the explanation of the controversial ability in the kit. The rest of the kit's fairly straightforward. She just throws a ball of fire forwards and it explodes. It goes through minions, but it will explode as soon as it hits another myth. When it's maxed, it refunds missing mana. So it kind of helps her right click mitigate some of the cost when you're spamming it a lot, if you can hit myths. If you don't hit a myth, you don't get the refund. So
okay,
land your shots, get mana back, dash more. Kind of a nice little circle there.
So I'm watching the gameplay. That main attack, like with her Q, right? You throw the sphere. Does that go through minions or does that hit minions that explodes?
Yeah. It only explodes on like the floor, the wall, or
a myth. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It'll go through jungle camps. It'll go through.
And it does damage to the minions it goes through?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Right. And then she puts little rows of fire on the ground. That's her E. I don't know if it's been used yet in the gameplay or not.
It has, yes.
Like a little minefield. Yeah, a little minefield. It slows, deals damage as they walk through them. It's kind of like her deterrent. Right?
It kind of reminds me of an airport runway.
Yeah, right.
You put those down.
Down the middle, run right in the middle, but don't deviate.
Yep.
You'll be punished for sure. Like I said, it's more of her like spacing ability to space between her and her opponents. Mm-hmm. When it's maxed, it shreds MR, magic resist, so she's dealing more damage to the person.
Okay.
That typically this ability is going to be maxed last, so this will be like level 20, like late game. So it's going to help her scale into the game even harder. Her R is the pillar ability. It comes out the ground. It's pillar of fire, and it slows by default level 1. And then when it's maxed, it has a micro knockback on it, just a minor displacement, nothing crazy. And it's in the out from the center. So if she uses the ability behind you, it'll push that person towards her. If that makes sense.
Okay. The one thing I noticed that I would say about the about that little her E, the runway, is and it's probably something you guys will have it changed by the time we get to play a test or do whatever anyways, but like at least from what I saw the gameplay, there's no way to tell the enemy runway to your runway. So that's kind of a little, like, I don't know if I put that down or if that's hard to run into or you don't want to do that. So I think a color deviation would definitely be something I would advise future.
Yeah. I would say that's a problem across the entire game, though, not just her.
Okay.
Because the same thing happens on every character. It's just the same V effect across the board.
I guess I'm not used to anybody else putting something else down though for me to like be worried about in that situation.
Fair enough. Then her ultimate is like I mentioned earlier, big spirit bomb. Then she throws it. She goes up in the air really high. As she charges it, she gets bonus range on it, so she can throw it farther, and then it just deals massive damage. A big part of like this whole character revolves around hypermobility and dealing damage. She only has a little bit of soft CC on one ability, and the rest of it is just damage. Spacing, damage, mobility. Like she's very straightforward in how she plays. She does not have a lot of CC. She's really good in one-on-one combat and being annoying. That is like her best thing to do is just be annoying.
All right. No, I'm liking the kit so far from what I've been being used. And she seems like she's just that. She's a mage that she's gonna do a lot of magic damage. That's gonna go in and be a burst damage mage, especially if she's hitting you with that Q. So I'm liking it. I'm not a mage main normally myself, but like I would definitely dabble with this for sure.
Yeah, she's very fun. She's easily my favorite character in the game right now. Not overall because I know other characters, but in the game right now, she is my favorite. So.
Actually, kind of to piggyback off of that a little bit, we kind of mentioned it offhand, but the big thing about Kahlea is she's going to be our second mage, with the first one being Noxus. I'm kind of curious, what was kind of like a design philosophy? Like, how much was Noxus taken into account when designing Kahlea and fine-tuning her numbers? How much was a mirror match considered when fine-tuning everything? What kind of can we expect to see knowing that going forward?
So Noxus was always team fight oriented. She's very strong in team fights. She's very strong at scaling, and she has CC. Like her ultimate has CC. She has a root on a basic ability. She has a lot of team play in her kit, and Kahlea does not. Kahlea is able to harass in the 1v1. So if you were to compare these apples to apples, like Kahlea would just win because she has a lot more mobility. She's able to dash out of Noxus's abilities. She's able to harass her a lot more, go in and out constantly, whereas Noxus is more focused on big team fights, taking objectives, and winning the game through, those means, if that makes sense.
Okay. Now, I know, this is mainly about Kahlea, but like now overall, UG and Ethereal, when it comes to you guys and introducing your next hero, when you guys are looking at it, you're looking at your meta when you're doing that, correct? And when you're looking, what is your plan like when you guys are sitting like, all right, hey, we're looking here. Hey, the next one we got to let's say an ADC. We need to bring in ADC to kind of help mess up the meta a little bit. I mean, obviously you guys got malware in there now, so that wouldn't be that situation. But I was just using that as an example. What are
fourth, etc.
Yeah. So what are you guys? Because you guys have other heroes that are in the like already ready, not ready to go. Playable, but like in the mindset, like we know of like Zero, right? Zero's one of them. He's got the Glock.
Angel with the Glock,
right?
Shout out.
So, so we got like a hero like him. Like when we know of these heroes, if we've been following Ethereal, when do we think that we would be like? You guys have a plan for that. What is that plan per se?
So as far as like a more straightforward roadmap, I do want to have a roadmap, a character-specific roadmap at some point this year. I'm not going to say like I'm going to have it next week or anything.
Right, yeah.
I probably won't even have it for the test. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know. It depends on a lot of things internally.
Test next week confirmed. You heard it here, guys.
But I do want to have some sort of a roadmap because there are things internally with that order that has changed. And some people are going to be disappointed because some of them are characters you guys know about, but there are other characters that have moved up in the list that you guys don't know about. So I do, at some point in the near future, I do want to get some sort of a roadmap out to the public so you guys kind of know what we're working on and why we're working on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Well, Stump says, what's the status of the other upcoming myths like Zero, Grognark, and Grace? I don't remember Grace, to be honest with you. So that's one out though.
She's got a mech.
Okay.
I think you guys have only seen concept art of her.
What's the little guy? The little
Nikolai.
That's all right. So that's one of them. All right. So Nikolai would be one.
Yeah.
But speaking of Grognark, I've noticed in this gameplay when you pull up the tab stream that there is no Grognark in the gameplay. Is Grognark playable? Like, are we not playing him? Are we speaking on him?
There's no Grognark playable in the game right now. He's being worked on and iterated on internally.
Okay.
So I'm not going to give an estimate on when, but
no, that's fine. I just remember, I think I remember Jelly Knee saying on one of the minions that he was like the next hero to come out and stuff like that.
He was supposed to be,
Okay.
He was supposed to be the 8th character.
All right, did he get pushed back then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, that's fine. Interesting.
He was one of the ones that got pushed back.
Gotcha.
More, but whatever. We'll go into that later.
All right. Scope. Got anything else?
Honestly, not right off the top of my head. Skipper inadvertently talked about a lot of the things I wanted to know about Kahlea. Mostly like design philosophy was my big thing. Not even just lore, but also kind of mechanically, how does she fare on her own, and then how does she fare going against certain characters? How does she fare working with other characters on her team? So a lot of that was answered, and I'm definitely even more excited for seeing how other people are able to come up with crazy stuff that Kahlea can do.
Oh, for sure. Now with her kit, you said when she maxes out her abilities, those become enhanced. Are those enhanced for the rest of the time being used, or just that initial time of maxing it out?
Rest of the game.
Okay.
She's just stronger for the rest of the game. Yep.
All right, and that fits with her lore. Nice. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's a definitely interesting concept. And I'm definitely interested to give her a try and see what that's like. So Scope, you're a tester. So one of my other questions is, not that you can answer it, Scope, but if you can, great. Are you looking to add testers, add any more testers? And if so, where would they be able to apply if you guys are looking to add more testers?
Yeah, so we're always adding testers, just slowly here and there. There is a link to our website, has a Google form on there. You can find it in our Discord.
Okay.
I think somebody was actually linked it like yesterday or today in the Discord, and I like the community questions or a channel somewhere around the general.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's in announcements. If you scroll up just a little bit, it'll be there. So just ask for it. Somebody will link it. It goes around.
So now I want to ask that same question, but for our EU fans, because we got a lot of. Yes. I'm in Discord in the morning, very early in the morning, and I'm sitting there saying good morning, everybody. And I got a lot of my EU friends coming in there saying hi back to me. And I know a lot of them would love to be in the testing, but you guys only do testing NA side so far.
Yeah.
Is there any plans to open that up into EU side so the EU groupies can jump in and help out with testing?
Yeah. So for internal testing, we're probably just going to keep it in NA. Just NDA it's easier to keep track of the NDA if it's just NA.
Okay.
So it's just easier for legal. That's what the higher ups have decided to do. And so, yeah, I mean, they have got good reasons for it. So unfortunate for the EU folk, but
all right,
it's just the way it's got to be.
That being said, I can at least say that really only applies to like our current internal testing. We are absolutely not discouraging EU players from following the game.
Oh no, definitely not.
And most importantly, when we do announce when our next official public test is going to be, regardless of where you are in the world, sign up for that.
Like, for sure, 100%.
It'll definitely be great for the community as a whole.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we'll have an EU server on the test. I don't know yet. We might not. I think it really depends on demand, because there's no point in opening a server if they're not going to be able to get games.
Right.
So it's really going to depend on demand, and that goes for anywhere. That goes for anywhere around the world. If you guys are, Australia or whatever, like it really just depends on demand in the area for us to decide on if we're going to open a server there or not.
Okay.
So.
I don't know how to say this name, but Sano, I'm going to call this person. So first time chat, thank you for that. When are proper animations coming? The characters feel was absolutely awful, even if they look good visually. So
yeah, so animations, we've always been pretty vocal and out front about this. Animations are definitely not our strongest point. Kahlea animations are definitely better than some of our other characters, and they're going to be iterated on. This is still alpha, like this is still early. We're in no way saying that these are finalized animations. They are going to get changed. They are going to get iterated on. I don't have a timeline for that. Animations do take a long time to do and to create and polish and stuff.
Right.
So as an indie studio, we don't have all the resources in the world to constantly keep remaking animations or just keep even iterating on the same animations. So
yeah,
it'll come over time. Definitely. We definitely know it's literally number one on the list on everywhere. So
it's true. And I know I'm just kind of repeating it here, but like when I played, that was my biggest issue. Like the game itself, like your guys' game mechanic is great. The idea of the game is great. The visuals of the game is great, but just the especially raod, like you said, they're going, you're running, and you grab somebody, and it's like, all right, and then it just kind of like throws somebody, and just kind of they just launch. It's like, what happened? Like my arms didn't even move, but like
you
just
see like each of the steps. Yeah. So
yeah,
for sure.
So it's there. So once that gets implemented in the game, the game's gonna just skyrocket, in my opinion. Like people are just gonna fall in love with it for sure.
Oh, people are gonna fall in love with the game as soon as they get their hands on it. Animations this size, like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, that is true. This
game is extremely fun.
I can speak to this as well. Like, yes, you can call bias if you really want to, but like the reason that I stuck around for, as a tester for this past year and a half was because even back then I enjoyed playing the game. It was worth my time investment, and watching it grow and seeing it get better was even more worth my time investment. So I could, personally attest, I did fall in love with this game, and I can see a lot of people feeling the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I would be playing it more if I was able to stream it. That's my biggest issue. My only time that I can game is when I'm streaming, so it's like, so.
And I think that just goes to show, like, on our side, where our priorities are. Our priorities are always going to be on gameplay.
For sure.
And that is kind of unfortunate, right? People want good visual game, but you want a fun game. You want a game that you can see yourself playing for years. And that's the priority right now, and that is going to be the priority until we get to the point where we can polish. But right now, there is enough that needs to be worked on in the game that will be the priority for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not going to disclose anything here, but I'm part of the tester Discord as well, so I'm able to see, because you go through and you make your changes and you put your patches there. And you're grinding. I'll give you that right there. You're doing a great job. I can come through. I'll come through and I'll look in that patch, page is lit up. I'm like, okay, I'll go check and I'll read the patch. I'll see what's going on. And you guys are doing work. So keep it up. I'm excited to see what happens when we further there. I always call this guy Mike. I can't remember how to say this name, so I'm sorry. But Skifter, are you guys working in some way in ping/response improvements? I'm an SA player, and the hit feedback and response was way worse than fault pred/op. Like I played Marina, and even if I was hitting enemies, Malaya, even if I was hitting enemies, there was no damage response.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's something that we've actually improved upon this year. We do have bigger changes coming. Those are still very early in development, but we have made significant improvements, and Scope can attest to this as well, on like basic attack hit feedback and just abilities in general, hit feedback, and actually, getting the desired result of what you're trying to do. Like I said, there are bigger systems that are very early in development that I'm not really going to go into, but we've done a really good job, in my opinion, on getting the current system at its peak, in my opinion. So.
All right, the one thing I had for you, can you let us know of any of your personal goals as a UG dev, like what you want to do?
Goals.
Your personal goals.
So I was gonna say this earlier, but I hate mirror matches with a passion. Like not just in this game, just in MOBAs in general. I hate the concept of a mirror match. I hate blind pick. Just give me a draft and give me non-mirror matches. So that personally is like what I want. I want enough characters in the game for a draft mode. That would make me so happy.
There we go.
Not having to play the same mirror match for 3 games in testing in a row because there's no other options.
Right.
That would make me so happy. Granted, it's kind of in my control, right? It's kind of in a way, but That's one thing I'm definitely looking forward to. That's definitely a priority of mine, and also something that is my personal goal.
Okay.
Is to get to that point.
Nice.
Which right now it just requires more characters.
Right.
So.
Go. All right. So it was talked about before, before the end of 2022, there was a planned test, right? So we all know that that's there. And then it didn't happen. Here we are, 2023 now, March. The end of Q1. Now we're starting the end of Q1 here.
The end of Q1.
You've talked about it. You've hinted towards that there's a test coming. I'm not saying tell us when, but is there something? Can you at least explain why the test didn't happen? Was there something in the game that was like, hey, there was this huge game crashing bug? Or was there what was going on that just that test that was planned in 2022 just didn't happen?
So there was no official test in 2022. The last official announcement was, I believe, in April, where it was said that the test was pushed back indefinitely. I know there was talk of something, but nothing was ever technically official. We did want one. I won't I won't throw that out the window, but we did want one, but nothing was ever official. We have redone a lot of systems in the game, and a lot of them needed to be polished. A lot of characters. If we had had the test then, Kahlea wouldn't be in the game. So we're doing a lot of polishing and refinement, and I think that the players will be happy that we didn't at the end of the day.
Okay.
So
my devil's that. Oh, go ahead. Let's go.
I could add on a little bit more to that. One thing that UG, Skifter and the other developers have done really well is they are always listening to our feedback. And whenever they asked for it, they would ask questions with a lot of what's the word? Not perspective based, but like questions with relative answers. So my kind of question is, would you say this game is ready for another public test? And obviously I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself. And I know a couple of others who had the same sentiment. The answer was no, they didn't feel like the game was ready for the next test. But as UG has listened to a lot of the feedback that they're always asking for, some of it was implemented, some of it hasn't been. But as we got closer and closer as time went on and we made a lot more improvements, the amount of knows this game is not ready for testing has gone down drastically from what I know about how people have been responding. So obviously I'm not going to say, test is going to happen within the next XYZ amount of weeks. But since a lot of our internal community as a whole has a lot more of a positive reception to that, we're looking at taking the next couple of steps to doing that test. So
also,
nice.
Real quick, shout out to Arma. Arma joined the project. When did Game That Shall Not Be Mentioned close? I don't know, but Arma joining the team as QA lead for Ethereal changed a lot.
Oh yeah,
it added a new perspective, even of one outside of a parazombie. Like Arma's perspective just on the game as the game should be changed the game for the good, in a positive direction. And the game has seen a lot of improvement since he joined the team. So yeah, shout out to him because he's done an incredible job.
Oh, yeah.
He communicates very well with the team, with myself. Like he's very good at what he does.
All right, guys. So Zoom is acting up on my end, so stick with me real quick. I'm gonna close out and then I'll be right back. But we still got they can still see the gameplay, so we're gonna do that. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Sure. see if there's technically a question.
All right, we are back now. Let me switch this back here. All right, we're back to talking. Okay.
Ayo.
Cool.
I was gonna say something with what I remember, and I guess there wasn't an actual official word. I just remember it being when for the minions they would go through and they do their ethereal spot, and it was always kind of like hey, we're just waiting to announce it 2022. We want to do something by the end of 2022. That we're waiting for that to kind of figure out when it was going to happen, and then there was it. Then it was obviously didn't happen, but I don't personally remember. Hey, this announcement, this is why it didn't happen, or whatever, whatever's going on. That's just kind of where I was like, I kind of felt like it was just kind of like, okay, well, 2022, we're already in 2023, like let's just move on. Like nobody, we're just gonna keep going, and that's kind of what it felt like to me. And I wanted to get the community to understand what was happening. You said Arma. You should shout out to Arma. So Arma, I know I was kind of talked a little bit about on For the Minions. He even came on For the Minions and kind of talked about. So he's like, what is it? What did bringing Arma in? What did that do for you, Skifter, as a developer? Like, what did that take anything off of your plate? Did that make things? How much easier did it do for you? Like, let's give this huge shout out to Arma and tell us what's going on.
Like it's
100%.
For sure.
Because he didn't really follow the game that much. He was very dedicated to Fault. Dang it, I said the name. Unlucky. He was very dedicated to Fault. He was very dedicated to his team and his project. He did not follow Ethereal that much. So when he came in, he very much came in ready to tear it apart, for lack of a better word. And from a new player perspective, and he had, another game that he had put a lot of time into. He was ready to look at a fresh project with fresh eyes. And he came in with a new player experience. Like, hey, what is the new player experience missing? Hey, if I pick up this character for the first time, why is a certain ability bad? Or why does these two things not work? Why does this objective feel bad? Like why? He just gave a bunch of reasons on why, and he did a very good job of explaining the ins and outs of his thought processes, and it allows, and he still does it to this day, but it allows like an actual discussion between the departments, especially between the game design team, programming team, myself, and himself, like actually having a discussion on why he thinks that, why it was made the way that it was, how we could either do like the way it was made, either make it better, change it for the better, or improve on it and push it further in the direction it was supposed to be. If that makes sense. Either change course or go further into it, if that makes sense. So, and he's done a very good job of discussing that as somebody who loves games and didn't know very much about the game, but also, coming into this with an open mind, wanting the game to succeed, not knowing a ton about it.
Okay. Now, what is his title with you guys?
He's QA lead. He's
QA lead. So that's quality assurance testing, right?
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but that was pretty much what you have your title now, and plus that, right? So didn't he pretty much kind of take that off of your title? So just kind of let you allows you to focus more on the character, working character improvements and stuff like that?
Yeah. So
awesome.
All of his feedback then just comes to me anyways. And then, we discuss it. We discuss it with the rest of the department and stuff like that. And then, he's able to, take over testing and work with the testers more in detail. They ran through, I think it was like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now. He made a doc and they tested every single item and every single item interaction and stuff like that. And there was like a whole doc and they listed all the bugs and everything for me. And it was very well thought out across the board. So
one thing that I love with him coming into UG in that tester Discord is he came in, he would play the game, and then he would come back the next day and he'd have a huge paragraph of things of suggestions of hey, what about this with this character, but he didn't put it into hey, just to he didn't take it to you developers, right? He gave it to everybody in the testing Discord, because it's not just for discussion to because the testers, Scope, you can attest to this, you guys have so many interactions with these heroes. You understand the ins and outs of these heroes that you, or these myths, sorry, with these myths, that you understand the interaction between them and how they work, and you would understand better to make that change that he was suggesting or not, and you would be able to give better input on why or why not to go with it. So the fact that he did it there, I thought that was great. I loved it, even though like I'm quote unquote a tester because I'm in the tester Discord. It was great to see. I thought that was a great interaction. I've always hated the people that come in. Like I was in the Navy. People that don't know that I served in the Navy. You get a new officer that comes in and they just instantly start taking charge. I don't like those officers. The officers that come in, they sit back, they understand, they watch how the team operates, and then they make changes depending on what they see. And all right, let's see how this team operates first before we make those changes. So that was kind of a more of a hey, these are my suggestions. What do you guys think? And letting you guys understand the situation and let him kind of interact with you guys. I thought that was great. Great move by him.
Yeah.
Owen answered the question, but I'll let you jump into it a little bit further if you want to. But Seno asked, how far has the performance optimization come so far since the last test? The game ran terribly last time. Owen said miles better than our last test. So can you touch a little bit on that?
It's not just client either. Like it's server too. We had to get like last test. We had to like get like pretty beefy servers because like the game ran poorly. It was using a lot of RAM usage on the server and the client, and like don't have that issue anymore for both the CPU and the RAM on the server, but also the client too. There were quite a few memory leaks on both client and server, and those have been fixed. A lot of them were fixed fairly soon after the last test. But if you guys have been following the January developer update, the lighting update, that was a huge update for performance. Probably gave it about a 50% boost. If it was like GPU, like if you have a bad CPU, then it probably wouldn't have done much. So it really just depends. That specifically, but there were other updates that have made it better. So it's better across the board. I don't remember what the minimum specs were before. I'd have to check, but they're definitely going to get redone.
Okay.
The minimum specs and the recommended specs, they're definitely going to get redone, revamped. I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember what they were, but they're definitely different now. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So before it had to be like a little 4-bread toaster, but a 4-slice toaster, but now you can probably do it on a 2-slice toaster. We're getting better there. All right.
No, you got to turn it upside down and put like the refrigerator pizza. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
How you do it right there.
Mike says,
between the bread before you push it out.
Exactly.
Talk about ability feeling bad. In my opinion, Aaron's fireball thrown don't fit in the character. He's like a beast, and the physics of the way he throws the fireball is very light, soft compared to the character design. I think that comes more to the I know, and I know you, we don't want to talk about it too much, but like I remember that you guys having the suit, the mocap suit. Delia's got that. So you guys can at him, tell him to hurry up and get his suit on. You know, don't worry about his summer bod. We got to get the suit going.
Summer bod.
All right. But
yeah, to talk on Iran, during the last test, the animation dictated a lot of how the ability worked. The ability was a lot slower than the last test. If you look at older feedback, or not older feedback, older footage, the ability was a lot slower because of that, underhanded toss. But we've decided that, that ability is not supposed to be that slow, so we sped it up. That was an Arma feedback. Was that, hey, this ability needs to be faster. Like, it's very hard to hit. It's very unreliable. It's very influential in the way he plays. Like, this needs to be like sped up a lot. And animations, as we talked about earlier, have not had the chance to like pick up the change the way that ability looks to match like the new speed and the new, I was gonna say aesthetic. I don't know if that's the right word though. You get the point though.
Yeah. Yep, I got you. So, all right. Easter eggs. There was some Easter eggs in this the footage here.
There were a few, actually.
So let's let me see if I can switch to the camera here. Let me see if I can find where I was talking. I know there is around here. I think you eventually go to the screen there is a new character playable. Was it? Pause. No. Where's the pause button? I don't know how to play YouTube, guys. Sorry. Right there. There's a new character here. Arma's actually playing this new character. Who is this new character? Can you tell us?
Which one? There's two.
There's two of them? All right, hold on. Let me look. I know Malaya. I know, yeah, that's my boy. That's Aron. You're Kahlea. That looks like, maybe that is her. No, so yeah, the bottom right, the bottom left, Sojourn. Is Sojourn playing the new one?
Ethereal and Malware? They're both on there somewhere.
No.
Ethereal, yeah.
Sojourn is playing a different skin from.
Different skin. Okay, that's what that is. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. So Ethereal and Malware are the two. There's been some teasers here and there.
Oh, that's Malware that's Armadillon's playing?
Yes.
Okay.
Malware.
See, I wasn't thinking it was Malware because you have your Protector of Ages in there. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So 2 ADCs playing in this one match. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Exiel. I knew Exiel was there, or as Mangoose likes to call him, Sexiel.
Exiel. Yep.
That's a new one to me.
You haven't heard Mangoose call him Sexiel? Oh man. Okay, yeah.
I'm not fighting it though. I love it.
No, yeah, that's definitely what that is. I'm assuming there's others. I haven't had a chance to really focus on the video.
There's just 3 in that game.
3 in this game.
3. The Kahlea, which is her perspective, and then there's Exiel and Malware. Yeah.
Okay, but
I know
I'm talking
Exiel
about
shows up towards the end because I know I'd kill him in that quadra at one point. But
right. But Easter eggs. Is there any more Easter eggs in the game besides just the characters?
I don't. I mean, there are Easter eggs, but I don't know if there's Easter eggs in that gameplay footage specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, those 2 characters are in the game. They're both playable. More information will be coming out at some point about them. Not sure when.
Well, since Malware is in the game, and we understand, we do know Malware's kit, right? Or no?
So it was released at one point in time. Both of their kits were.
Okay.
About a year ago, I believe.
So Malware's
their kits
kit
are not the same as what they were.
No. So okay,
No.
does Malware can you answer this question? Yes or no? If you can't, that's fine. Does Malware still take? Is his ultimate still taking somebody into another realm? Okay.
Yes, he still takes them to the other realm, and he still has his charge basics. Those are his 2 big things. He still has them both. The rest of his kit, fairly different.
Okay.
Quite a few abilities.
I gotta get in there and test them. Then I tested before, but that was what the original kit. Like I don't know the new kit.
It's been iterated on.
Okay.
A lot of people were unhappy with the way that he was playing, and there were some bigger changes that need to be made. So we made iterations on it, and I'm pretty comfortable with the way he is now. I'm pretty happy with the way he ended up, and he's very streamlined. So
okay,
I think he's good. Same with Exiel. Exiel had some big changes. He's actually had 2 changes.
I don't remember Exiel. ADC man. I know my boy Malware, but girl. Malware, girl, or what is Malware? Virus, technically, but
yeah, sure.
So anyways, I got my Malware. So but Sexiel, I don't remember exactly.
So the kit he had before, he
reminded me of the what game was that where you had the two brothers or whatever, but you could turn into one of the other ones. He kind of that's what he reminded me of.
It's definitely his vibe for sure, and that's still his vibe.
Okay.
His old kit that was released, like I said, I won't go through the new one. The old kit that was released, he had his Q was the stab and slash.
Yep.
His E was I think it blocked the basics at the time. His R was the invisibility dash, and his ultimate was the projectile that hits somebody and then he can teleport to them, and it has the execute on it.
Got you. All right.
Yeah.
What game was that? I can't think of it. What game was that I'm thinking of?
Goodness, I don't remember.
I mean, they weren't brothers, but
they weren't. What was it?
Well, when WE Games did the Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
The spirit element was very big. I get those kind of vibes as well.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of
you're thinking of brothers.
Prince of Persia. Is that what it's called?
Never played it.
Anyways, all right, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll message you guys. It's bothered me, but I can't think of it now. So, I think that's all I really had. Oh, no, I did have more. Is there any plans to announce you said roadmap for characters or myths? Roadmap overall, is there any plans to kind of announce somewhat of a roadmap for 2023? What you guys have planned going on?
I know we have one on the website. I know that it's outdated. I don't know how outdated, but I know it's pretty outdated. But you can get a general guideline of what we wanted to work on. There's the whole thing is like completely different now. And I know in the video that was released yesterday, there was a new website mentioned.
Yep.
And I know, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be like an updated roadmap on there as well. Not 100% sure, but I am fairly certain that we'll get there as well. So,
Mike asked a good question here. What's the kit you guys are the most proud of, and you already have any other kit ready that you like the most?
I do. So far, currently in the game, Kahlea is my favorite. She's extremely fun. She's hyper mobile. Who doesn't love a hyper mobile character? There is another kit that is coming. I'll say within the next 3 characters that you don't know about.
Okay.
In the next 3, it's got to be my favorite by far. That one's entirely my design, from scratch, with input from the team for sure. But that one's mine. It's going to be fun.
Recu, I can answer that one. You'll have to ask Jelly. Yeah. Other than that, Scope, you got anything else you want to ask or plug or anything?
No, don't think so. Thanks for having us on. This is definitely exciting, but also exciting in the sense that we get to talk more about Ethereal. We get to reveal a lot more to you. I know that sometimes it might be frustrating, like you feel like you're waiting in the dark. You know, we talked about there was an announcement of an open test, and now it's a year later. Where's that actually going? It is going places, and we're excited to have you along for the ride so you can see where those places actually are. I know it's a very vague analogy, but
very vague analogy.
Yeah, but like
the game is much different than what it was. Like much different. If you played in the last open test, I think it's safe to say just throw everything out the window. Like this is a different game.
Okay. So I want to kind of shed a little bit of light and give you my opinion on why things are kind of like how they are. So somebody brought up the fact that it was like, hey, this Kahlea video and the announcement just kind of isn't getting a lot of traction from what Ethereal is wanting in that situation. And I think the reason for that is you guys were doing so well. We were doing tests. We were, here's more information. Then we're doing another test, and here's more information. We're doing play test. You guys had the you did 2 of them, and I was a part of one of them. You at the events. You did the everybody was Dante event. What are
the extra life events? Yeah,
extra life events, right? You're doing the extra life event. You did. Did we miss one? I feel like it's already been a year since the last one.
I feel like we didn't do the last one. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I just feel like it's almost like all this hype was built up, and then it was like, all right, now we're quiet and nothing's happening. And I think that's where a lot of the community members that were all hyped for it, we're just kind of like, okay, well, now what's happening? And it's just so I feel like if we can get back into that, like I get you guys are an alpha, but I think these tests that allow because you guys are only doing NA testing for internal testing, these public tests are great ways just to kind of keep the community, keep that community vibe going. They're excited, even though they only get to touch it once in a while. It still keeps that excitement there. But like it's almost like that candle, that flame just kind of is blown out for a lot of people because they just kind of like, hey, we haven't heard anything in a while, and we need a little more than just TikToks. Which keep up on the TikToks. I'm not trying to downplay that at all. The more information we're getting is great. So. Ooh, good question. Do you know if there's going to be Linux support? The Ancient of Rights asked that.
Definitely not for the test.
Not for the test coming up, but do we overall? Is there a plan when you guys go early access or whatever?
Support, yeah.
Okay.
I could see it. I'm not going to say for sure, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Got you.
So
There you go,
I
Ancient
can
Fruit.
actually shed a little bit of light on this because I know the reason they're asking is because basically the question actually is there going to be Steam Deck support? Which I don't want to put words in Skipper's mouth, but I imagine that we're focusing on the PC release. We want to optimize it for standard PCs first. But Linux support and Steam Deck support, I would say that's not out of the question down the road.
There you go. PlayStation also runs on Linux. I did not know that. Interesting. Is it in the
development is much different though?
Yeah.
Is it in the
not just
plan
Linux.
to consider console release down the road somewhere? I mean, I would assume so.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. It console release requires a dedicated team to do that, and we don't have the personnel to have a dedicated team just for console. So,
Okay.
PC it is. I mean,
There you
there's
go.
a lot of big games out there that are like newly released that aren't even on console. So, because it requires a lot of work.
Yeah.
So,
PlayStation runs on custom BSD. I don't know what that even means. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just a content creator. I PlayStation's my thing, but I don't. Yeah. Well, you guys are saying things to me. I'm like, I don't know. Sure, yeah. I literally used Linux for the first time ever yesterday. All right, because for work I had to use Linux to do something, to create something on a hard drive for another for my at home work, and I used Linux for the first time ever. I'm like, I don't know what Linux is, but I'm like, okay, here it is. I'm like, sure, I don't know. So I know that was something, and it's not just Ancient of Rights. Me being a content creator for a lot of these MOBAs, I've seen people come in when Fault was up. Ryan Red was getting hit, asking, hey, Linux, we need Linux support, whatever, because I don't know if Fault wasn't running correctly on Linux or if it wasn't working with Linux or something like that. But I know there is a community out there that, obviously, a gaming community that uses Linux. So I would definitely suggest that would be an option somewhere down the line for sure, because I know there's people out there who want it.
definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
There you go. All right. So let's do our closing remarks then. So anything you got, what are you going on, what plans, whatever, where people can find you, if you're making content, doing whatever, go ahead and put those plugs in now. So Scope, go with you, then Skifter, then myself, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, so probably the best thing to do, I am going to be looking to put Ethereal content when the timing is appropriate on my YouTube channel. If you look up Scope SF, I'm really the only one on YouTube, so you'll find me there. Otherwise, I am going to say, Peter touched on this a little bit, but the official Ethereal, TikTok, YouTube is becoming a lot more active. So absolutely the best thing you could do if you want to keep up with more Ethereal news, the two best things you could do, look up Ethereal Clash of Souls on these social media sites. And when you do, make sure you're spreading this information, telling your friends about this new game that's coming out, so they could follow along, they could see when the expected public releases are. That really is the healthiest way that you can help support this game.
There we go.
Yeah.
Skiff?
Yeah. So to touch on that a little bit further, follow us on socials, but we also have a Patreon. You want those animations, like a lot of things go through that Patreon. A lot of things can happen faster through that Patreon.
Yeah, you do. I'm actually subbed to the Patreon. You do get things faster ahead of time. It's kind of like almost having somewhat of an NDA. Like you get obviously you're behind the testers, but you're still ahead of the rest of the community. Because I actually know things right now that I can't tell you that's on the Patreon. Because if you want to know it, pay, subscribe to the Patreon. You'll get more information. Yeah. Definitely pretty cool.
Gameplay was 2 months ago, I think, on the Patreon. So quite a bit early.
For sure.
But yeah.
Ancient of Rights does say that it doesn't need support, just compatibility with Linux, I guess. So that's more information for the devs out there eventually. As long as we're allowed to play the game, we can get it working. So there we go.
Fair enough.
So,
let you finish. Contact your people.
All right.
But yeah, you can find me in the UG Discord. I don't really follow social medias because just on the computer all the time. So Discord.
There's social medias on the computer too. You don't have to do it on your phone all the time.
Too much work.
too much work. It's just an extra tab is all it is, but okay.
An extra tab. An extra tab on Chrome is a lot, okay?
Yeah.
Like a lot.
A lot.
He's a developer. If you
Right?
close the next tab, it might break something.
That's true. That's true. Well,
Brands everything.
that's why we didn't have a test last year, guys. He opened an extra tab up, is what happened. All right. No, thank you both for coming here. I definitely appreciate this. It was very enlightful. So I had a good time. I am going to be posting this on my YouTube for anybody who wants to go in and hear it out, whatever. I'll link it into the UG Discord. That way Skifter can even read it. And the other, I know Owen's pretty active as well, so they can read the comments on it. And then you guys can interact there as well if you weren't able to be here live.
Yeah, and hit me with questions too in the Discord
Yes.
if you have any.
Yep. So that's one thing I do love about the you guys as developer. You guys are very open to be added in the Discord and ask questions too, and you reply whenever you're available. So that's great. Keep that up. Other than that, if you guys like being here, whatever, I do stream every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesdays are my Predcast shows with Windu, Medkit, and Crashy. And then Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are me playing games. So once Ethereal is out, one of those days I'll be playing Ethereal. So until then, I've been playing my other MOBA Pred. So I heard there is Medkit. There we go. Yes, there's one of my co-hosts for the Predcast. So, right? So, other than that, appreciate y'all coming to hang out. We did get some follows, we got some subs. I appreciate every single one of you for that. That was awesome. Bearded is scared of me. I ain't scared of shit, Stump. I just appreciate you coming here, hanging out, and supporting me. All right, and I love the fact that I live rent free in your head because you can keep talking about me. So that's awesome. Keep it up, Stump. Appreciate it. Do you want to play Destiny, Beard? I do not want to play Destiny. My son does play it though on PlayStation. So if you see the Cooch 4 playing Destiny, that's my son. And he's only 6. He's bad. If he's better than me, that's probably why. But I don't play. Destiny is just too of what's the word I'm looking for? Too grindy of a game. Like it's just you gotta grind too hard for stupid content. So nope. Other than that, appreciate you all. I hope you all enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one. All right. Peace.